Alright, so this is going to be the start of a 6-part series. Basically, I'm going to review every single Star Wars movie. And obviously, that means 1 through 6. And I've actually never done individual videos on each one of the movies. I've done one for Harry Potter, but I wanted to do it for Star Wars. And I guess this is part of a series that I'm sort of doing. It's the holy trinity of franchises. I believe I've done one for each Lord of the Rings, so that's that. So yeah, let's start with the Phantom Menace. I also have a new idea that I'm going to do for like shorter style videos that I think you'll enjoy. They're going to be Star Wars lore videos, but they're going to be for like lesser known or really obscure characters. Like, I'm thinking the first episode will be about Coleman Trebor. And if you don't know who that is, just search it up. Coleman Trebor. And he's a Jedi. So that'll probably be the first one. So let's get in here and let's start. So Phantom Menace. So I actually watched this yesterday, I think, or the day before. I can't remember. I just got done with watching episode 2. So right after this, I'm going to record that. But for now, we're going to do the Phantom Menace. Thoughts on the Phantom Menace. So it goes without saying for the prequels that the story is generally excellent, but the dialogue weighs it down, and the direction also weighs it down. However, in this film, I would say there are real moments of excellence in terms of the direction. I think the space scenes are perfectly done using both practical effects and CGI to enhance, and it looks really realistic. I also think CGI in general was used pretty tastefully generally in this film. Some areas was a bit sus, but so that, in terms of visuals, I think the Phantom Menace actually has like individual scenes that are the best of any of the movies of the prequels, because they sort of perfectly combine practical and CGI at times. And another area of strength is in this movie, you had some really great standout scenes like the Duel of the Fates or the pod race. But the downsides with this movie is, compared to the other two prequels, it is much less interesting of a story, very simple, very introductory. The dialogue obviously has a lot of problems. But yeah, let's do the synopsis. I always have a hard time finding it. Okay, there it is. Oh, look at this. This would be me if I was in the movie. That'd be awesome. Okay. Shit, this is long. So basically, the premise is that the Trade Federation invades. I'm going to do a little bit of a shortened summary. The Trade Federation invades Naboo. Darth Sidious is sort of manipulating everything. He's invading his own planet to create a sympathy vote for himself in the Senate as Palpatine. But basically, the Jedi go there, but they're attacked. It's all going bad. They escape with Queen Amidala. Meanwhile, they're forced to go to Tatooine to escape. But before that, we have the introduction of R2-D2, who gets a really heroic scene, which I really like. And the scene with the invasion is good, but the problem is, like, Jar Jar is a huge drag on those early scenes, and he's really annoying, but, like, he kind of makes me laugh in a way. So in a way, I kind of enjoy him sometimes, but in general, he's really, really bad character. So yeah, on Tatooine, they basically have to get a hyperdrive, and through a series of events, Qui-Gon makes a deal, or a a gamble, a bet on the pod race with Watto, who's the owner of Anakin Skywalker. And you're introduced to Anakin, who is a generous, loving, kind young boy who wants to help the Jedi and Padme sort of get off the planet by racing his new pod. So we're introduced to Anakin Skywalker, who is my favorite character of all time, Anakin / Darth Vader. And I think the introduction is generally good on a story level. I think definitely the acting and the dialogue could be better, but other than that, you have a very good introduction. I like that they didn't make him evil in the first film. But I think the most interesting part of Anakin comes later. We learn about the fact that he doesn't have a father, that he's attached to his mother, etc. So there's the great pod race scene, and he wins and he's given his freedom, but he's forced to abandon his mother, which is the beginning of Anakin's problems, because he's very attached to his mother. They go back to Coruscant. You meet Chancellor Valorum, who's this like beleaguered and weak politician, and you meet Senator Palpatine, who is a charismatic, grandfatherly figure who's there to fix the problems. But basically, he manipulates or suggests to Padme to do a vote of no confidence, get rid of Valorum, then he can nominate himself, creating a sympathy vote because his planet was invaded, and then he will get elected. But the film sort of continues with the development of Anakin. We have Qui-Gon Jinn, who is one of my favorite Jedis, advocating strongly for Anakin, sort of as a father figure, saying, "This is the chosen one, you must see it." Of course, we've been introduced to Maul too on Tatooine. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, Maul comes back, so the Jedi are talking about both the return of the possible Sith, to which they are in disbelief, which is a problem with the arrogance of the Jedi. They don't ever believe anybody can really like manipulate them or do things without them being able to sense it. They have so much confidence in their abilities that they're very slow to act on threats. But anyway, like the Jedi Council is very resistant to Anakin, and this is the most important part of his character in the first film. You see immediately this innocent young boy who is very talented and has a lot of potential that is immediately alienated and treated with great suspicion by the Jedi. And not only do the Jedi Council alienate him, but you have his future father figure / master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, in one scene straight up saying that the boy is dangerous. They all sense it right in front of Anakin. So I love this because it really like sets up his arc so well. Like the boy is completely innocent, yet they're all treating him like he's like a monster. So naturally this does create problems in someone's life. Look at this. Essentially, a self-fulfilling prophecy is where like you say something's gonna happen, usually a bad thing, and you're so worried about it, and you basically subconsciously create it to happen. So the Jedi, by like treating Anakin with great suspicion over the years, but especially in his childhood when he's done like nothing to really provoke it, is a self-fulfilling prophecy in many ways, because in my opinion Anakin wasn't destined to become, to fall to the dark side. In my opinion, circumstances like pushed him into it, and a lot of that was the treatment of the Jedi, the coldness of the Jedi, the fact that they are like so hostile to the fact that he loves his mother, and they immediately like say like this is like a a symptom of evil, like the fact that he's attached to his mother. Whether it's true or not, it's just unkind. But certainly not true is all the sort of suspicion they have about him, and the fact that they don't think the chosen one should be trained just because he's a few years older. It's like all like really petty, dogmatic, unfair attitudes from the Jedi that definitely created a lot of resentment in Anakin. Like, these people don't want me, they don't like me, like making him feel like an outsider. So things go on. What I love about these scenes is like Qui-Gon stands on his own 2 feet, insisting that, this is the chosen one, sticking true to his principles. And, yeah, they go back to Naboo to find the secret of the Sith and free the world from Separatist occupation. There's the battle on Naboo, but the greatest scene would be the Duel of the Fates, which is really the selling point of this film. There's a fantastic battle, the greatest lightsaber duel up until that point in the Star Wars universe. And yeah, I love it. It's both an emotional, great scene and a fantastic action scene with like one of the greatest soundtracks of all time, the Duel of the Fates, which we actually played in band class in middle school, which I was very excited about. It never really sounded right because we were kind of shite, but it was all good fun. And yeah, so Newt Gunray is captured, Qui-Gon is killed, Darth Maul is defeated by Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon on his death says to Obi-Wan, like, train him. He is the chosen one. He will bring balance to the Force. Which is true. He does. Just in the way nobody expected. I'm sorry if my voice is a bit quiet today. It's a combination of the fact that it's late at night, people are asleep, and I also just don't want to talk too loud. I'll turn up the volume in post-production, so that'll be fine. Yeah, so that's a relatively simple film. It is a good movie with a lot of flaws. It's I like it a lot, and I think it has its qualities. I have some moments that I really enjoy. Like I said, the pod race, the Duel of the Fates. I like a lot of the lines. I love the line from Darth Maul. I posted this on my Twitter account, but it's at last we shall reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we shall have revenge. I love that line because it's the perfect encapsulation of 1,000 years of exile and planning for the Sith, and 1,000 years of pent-up rage and the desire for revenge. And it's a beautiful line, delivered by, I think his name is Ray Park, but doesn't really have much lines, but he really kind of steals the show in many ways. At last we shall have our revenge. Ray Park. This guy was funny. So yeah, that's been Phantom Menace. I don't really know exactly what I rate it, but it's like somewhere in the 8s. Let's see what I rated it. No, I didn't even give him direct rating, but it's somewhere in the 8s. Solo, an amazing film. No, I'm just kidding. I have never watched this since the theaters. Alright, now we move on to the second movie, Attack of the Clones. Sussy Boy out.